All right, we're back. Let's talk about this personal development plan. So there's key portions on key areas of your life. There's your spiritual, relational, emotional, intellectual, and wellness. So those are key areas that need to grow in your life. So think of an axis as you'll see in the diagram. That's the bottom, and it shows each of those areas. And you want to think about growing spiritually, okay? Remember now, growth is not automatic, but it's systematic. So you're not going to grow automatically. You have to have a plan to grow, and you have to create what we call rhythms to grow, okay? So spiritual rhythms, relational. You have to grow in your relationships, right? Starting with God. We'll talk about those different relationships. Emotional, you have to grow there. Because if you're not emotionally intelligent, and think of it this way, and we'll talk about this, but your emotional intelligence comes from the fruit of the Spirit. See? What could be more intelligent than the Holy Spirit? But emotional, intellectual. So that deals with your knowledge, your study, acquiring information, and then wellness, that deals with your overall health, taking care of yourself. So those are areas that you need to have a plan, and you need to grow in those areas, and you need to occasionally assess where you are on those areas. We usually use the term 1 to 4, assessing where you are in those areas of your life. See? And the other area of growth is in your overall leadership. Because yes, you grow in these areas, but you also need to grow as a leader. And there are 4 stages of leadership development. It's very important to hear this. You have to be able to lead yourself. You have to be able to lead others. Then you have to be able to lead teams. And then you have to be able to lead an organization. Those are different stages of your leadership development. And as you're growing your career or growing your ministry or growing your nonprofit or growing your family for that matter, or your community, you have to lead yourself first. Because if you can be the leader of one, you can be the leader of many. But if you can't lead one, you can't lead any. So you have to lead yourself first. Then you have to be able to lead others. Take another person and bring that person to a level of leadership as well. Then, now you start developing teams. So now you have to be able to lead a team of people. You have individuals, but not in silos. You have to build teams. And then, now as you grow that, then you begin to build an organization, have more responsibility, and now you can begin to lead there. So those are things that are required on the leadership side. The other part of the leadership area is influence. So because leadership is influence, there are areas, we call it the levels of leadership. So you have stages of leadership, but then there are the levels of leadership. So there are 5 stages of your leadership level. Stage 1 is and this is the axis that we're looking at. Starts with your position. You lead because you have the title. You have this position, but that's the lowest level of leadership. Then the second level is called permission. And that's based upon relationships. You lead because of your ability to build relationships. And then the next is called production. You lead because of your ability to make things happen. And then the next is called people development. You lead because your ability to develop others. And then finally it's called pinnacle. You lead because of your reputation, of your brand, of the fact that you are a person that people can trust. So these are the key and core principles that we're going to talk about in your personal development plan. And finally, the last part in this plan is you need accountability. Because if you grow in these areas without accountability, you'll eventually self-destruct. And we'll talk about the 4 levels of accountability, starting with your conscious. God begins to speak to you about correcting an area in your conscience. But if you ignore that, then God takes you to the next level. He starts talking to your brothers and sisters, people that are your peers around you. So the second level is your brothers and sisters, your peers. The third level, your spiritual leaders. So when you don't listen to people that are across from you, then God will begin to speak to your spiritual leaders and mentors about you. But if you ignore those people, then eventually God himself will have to intervene. And so these are core principles of the personal development plan that deals with those key areas that I mentioned, and we're going to help you as we walk through that plan together.